All right, what is going on, ladies and gentlemen? How is it going? I am Is There No One Else? And in today's video, I wanted to do an introduction to Elden Ring video for a few reasons. Number one, the most important one, the Shadow of the Erdtree DLC is coming out in a little over a week now. And I wanted to get something to help out new players. You've noticed that in the last few years, the AAA gaming studios have been struggling quite mightily. There hasn't really been a ton of good games coming out. The one lone savior in the genre, in my opinion, is FromSoft. Everything they come out is really good, and there is a really good chance that Shadow of the Erdtree will also be really good. So a lot of players will be returning, and it may have been a few years. And a lot of new players will be looking at other games and they'll go, man, I just want to play something good. I know that Elden Ring is typically good. I'm going to give this a shot. And so I have it fresh in my mind to do an introductory video because I completed Elden Ring for the first time this year. I am one of those players that decided to come back to the game and give it a shot because there was nothing else to play. I did play it when it first came out a few years ago, and I put some hours into it. I put 30, 40 hours into the game, but there was just some things that I didn't know, and had I known, I would have gotten to the game a lot farther. I would have completed this game a lot earlier, but I didn't know what to search for. There was a lot of confusing parts. And so I wanted to do a video since it's fresh in my mind after having recently completed it. Wanted to go through all the things that kind of hung me up on playing this game and allowed me to eventually beat it. So that's what this video is. I'm gonna have a chit chat with you guys. We're gonna bounce back and forth between a new character and a completed character and just kind of show you different things and different aspects that'll help you get on your way. First, what do you need? The number one thing you need in this game, guys, is you need to be stubborn as hell. You're going to die in this game. Dying is going to be your teacher. You're going to die a lot in this game, and you're going to learn what not to do through the hardest way possible. And you are going to die, and you're going to respawn, and you're going to do it over and over and over again. It's part of the process. It's part of the game. In my opinion, it's worth it. So just be prepared. Know that you're going to die a lot. As far as builds go, I will show you in this video what build I ran, but it doesn't matter. There are speed runs out there of people running level 1 Wretch with the beginner weapon and beating the entire game with no hit. If you are stubborn enough, if you are skilled enough, you can beat this game with literally any layout in the game. Some will be a lot harder, so you can pick and choose your tools wisely. What I would say is look at stuff and figure out kind of what you like, right? Like if you want faster weapons, if you want faster melee weapons, maybe look up something more dexterity based. If you like big strengthy boy bop weapons, maybe look up strength weapons. If you want to be a mage or a faith-based build, there's all sorts of different things you can choose. Just pick whichever one you like the most. Now, stepping into the game, you have to choose your character. You have to choose your class, and it really doesn't matter a whole lot. You can pick and choose and see which one you like more, but your choices are hero, bandit, astrologer, warrior, prisoner, confessor, wretch, and vagabond. Now, personally, myself, I went with Vagabond. Vagabond is pretty well-rounded. You start off with a sword, you start off with a shield, nice. You also start off with a halberd. Those are your 3 starting weapons. You get a lot of... It's a very good, well-rounded beginner class. If you want something a little bit harder, you can go Wretch. It doesn't matter. It really doesn't matter. You pick and choose whatever you want. You can change your archetype, whether you're faith-based, magic-based, physical-based. You can change that later on in the game, but just kind of pick one that you think you'll like and go with it to start off with. You'll get dropped down into this beginner area. If you've never played this game, I highly recommend doing the tutorial. When you get down here in this Undercroft style area, you will see this ghosty boy in the chair next door, and when you drop down into that hole, it takes you through a tutorial. You're gonna drop down there, you're gonna fight some guys, you're gonna come across a site of grace. These are your checkpoints in the game. These sites of grace are your checkpoints that allow you to fast travel from one checkpoint to the next. When you look at your map, you'll see all the checkpoints you have unlocked if you want to go back and do a specific thing. This is more of a sandbox style game. You can basically venture and roam anywhere you want. You can do whatever you want. If one area is too hard for you to do, you can come back later. And so you can venture out in the world, you can do other things that you physically can do. And if you want to go back and there's a boss that has already killed you for 5 hours, you can fast travel back and you can go kill it. And so that's what these checkpoints are for. They're also for accessing your chest. You can memorize spells. So this is where you get your spells at. This is where you reload your flasks. So if you collect Sacred Tears, which we'll talk about later, if you collect Sacred Tears, you can add onto the amount of flasks that you have. You can make them more powerful, and you can also level up at these checkpoints. And so as you kill things, you collect runes. These runes are how you level up. And so in your lower right bar, as you see your runes go up, the more of those you have, the more levels you can gain. You can allocate them into different points, which we'll talk about here in a minute. Now, as you open up this door, you are going to see a whole lot of shit. It is a magnificent, beautiful game, but just realize just about everything out there is out there to kill you. So don't spend too much time looking at stuff without knowing what's in your surroundings, because you can die. I'm speaking from experience. Now, this part of the tutorial, this part of this video, I wanted to go through everything in your inventory. I wanted to give you guys a basic outline of where stuff is, what it does, all these sorts of things so that you guys have access to it. And if you need to find stuff later, you know what to look for on the internet. This game has a lot of really in-depth mechanics to it. And just knowing the basic framework of how it functions will allow you to search exactly what you're looking for your specific type of build. And so that's what I'm hoping to get out of this. It's not going to give you everything, but it should give you a rough outline. As we dive into our character, before we adventure off into the world, you will see in the upper left-hand side of the screen, we have 3 bars. You see that we have a red bar, you see that we have a blue bar, and a green bar. The red bar is our health bar. When that disappears, we disappear, and all the runes that go with it. So yeah, like every other game, this is your health bar. This is something to keep an eye on to make sure it doesn't go to 0. It is not fun when it goes to 0.
You don't want to be like this. This is disgusting. This is awful in every way.
I highly recommend starting off for new players to level this up. We will go through how you will level up your health points and everything later on, but you want to have more health in this game, especially when you're trying to figure it out. When your health is higher, it takes more hits for you to die. It gives you time to learn to figure out mechanics of different bosses and different enemies so that you guys can prepare properly for how to fight and get better and improve. And as you learn and you get way better at the game, you need less and less health in order to survive and to do so. The blue bar is your FP or mana bar. You use this for Ashes of War, which we'll talk about here in a little bit. You use this for different summons. You use this for using different spells or incantations. So if you're a faith-based build, arcanist build, intelligence build, and you want to use different spells, this is the pool that it will draw from. If you want to summon creatures to fight by your side, this will also use this. Most summons, I'm pretty sure, use FP. I think a few do not. I think a few use health. Ashes of War also use this. So depending on what your skill layout is, you may want to increase this bar as well, depending on your build. And you guys will figure that out as you go on. And your bottom bar, this is your stamina bar. Your stamina bar impacts the amount you can carry. It also impacts the amount of... It's your resource pool for stamina-based abilities. So your dodge roll, your block, and your attacks. Your stamina bar, in my opinion, is your second most important bar out of the 3. The first one is obviously your health. But your stamina bar is also important because if that goes to 0, or if you're in a bad spot when it's really low, that's how you will take a lot of damage, and it will cause your red bar to go to 0. Your physical attacks are influenced by stamina. Your ability to block and dodge are influenced by stamina. Now, the reason your stamina bar is so important is because if it goes to 0, you will no longer be able to block, attack, or dodge. And if at that point, when you can't do those things, you're taking a ton of incoming damage from an enemy, you will die and you will respawn. I like to look at this game as it's an ebb and flow. Think of it as you're on the beach and you're watching the ocean. There will be a time where you will go in and you will attack and you will dish out the damage that you want to dish out to the enemy. And there will be a time where you take a step back and you recoup your stamina. This will not be... In most situations, it is not just a button smashing game where you go in there, you hit as many times with as many cool skills as possible, and you try to kill the thing as quickly as possible. The game doesn't always work that way. Sometimes there are mechanics where you will have to allow the boss to attempt to attack you, and you'll have to stay on the defensive, and you'll need resources in order to stay on the defensive. So treat this game and your stamina bar right, and the game will treat you right. Now, after your bars, As you dive into your equipment, you will see your layout look kind of like this. It may be different because you have a different class than I do, but I started off with a longsword and a halberd equipped with a shield and Vagabond Knight Helm, armor, gauntlets, and greaves. These are all your different equipment pieces you can wear. You can also slot potentially bolts or arrows for bows or whatever you want to run. This top line here, these top 3 bars are your armaments. And what this is it will show you, you can use these different slots to basically hotkey what your weapons are. So you see I have one sword here. If I cycle through, I can rotate through different weapons, which may be valuable for you. You may want to have different weapons in a fight. Maybe you want the longsword because it has a different type of Ash of War on it. This one has a different Ash of War on it. You want to cycle through to be a little bit more efficient for your weapons. You can do that. The trade-off for this is everything that you have equipped has a weight to it, and you can only carry so much. So if you look at the lower right-hand part of the screen where my mouse cursor is, you will see that my equipment load right now is 47.8, and the max I can carry is 49.8. And it also says that I am in a heavy load. Pause. What this means is because I'm in a heavy load, I have a heavy dodge roll. We'll talk about the difference between heavy, medium, and light dodge rolls later, but this is where you'll see if you have a heavy, medium, or light dodge roll with this. And they have differing varies of defense and what you can dodge and how far away you can dodge. So this is where you figure out what you want to do. As I remove weapons, if I remove the halberd and I remove the other greatsword, you see that I go from 47.8 to 30.8 weight. So now I'm carrying a lot less because I don't have 2 weapons equipped. I can no longer cycle through my weapons. I have 1 weapon and that is it. And so those are your choices. Those are your trade-offs. You can carry more and you have more versatility, or you carry less and you have a lighter equipment load, which means that your dodge is better. It's whatever you choose. Neither one's wrong. It's what you want to do. Your offhand, you can put other weapons here if you want, or you can put a shield here. If you see, I can dual wield, and so it gives you a different attack capabilities. If you run 2 of the same weapon, you can do power stance things, and it's just a different playstyle overall. I liked when I first played through, I ran with a shield because I like to be able to dodge and block incoming attacks. I wanted to have more tools in my toolkit. So the ability to dodge incoming attacks or potentially block and provide guard counters was valuable to me, which is why I chose what I chose. Dive into our armor. I don't think I have other armor on this character, but this is where you will pick stuff up and you can compare and contrast the differences between the two. As an example, let's say I want to change my weapon, right? And I'm cycling through stuff that I have. These ones have X's on them. The reason they have X's is it means that I can't use it to its full capability yet. If I'm comparing these two, it shows that the longsword is a straight sword, it's standard in pierce. This is a great sword, but it's also standard in pierce. It gives us a different weight. This is 9 weight, so it's red. It's quite a bit more, so red means it's more, a bigger weight load, whereas my normal sword is 3.5. You see the physical attack and critical damage on this is a lot higher. It is blue, so 136 physical, 110 critical. So if I wanted to deal more damage, if I could run this, it would also give me more damage. If you look on the side, you also see that my guarded damage negation is a lot higher with the specific weapon compared to the one-hander. And so in all those ways, it's better. If we look at attribute scaling on the bottom, you see that the strength scaling is a D for both, and the dexterity scaling is also a D for both. And so what the scaling means is as you put points into those specific attributes, it will boost the damage for that specific weapon. You can have D scaling, you have C, B, A. Different levels of scaling means that those attributes impact that specific weapon more. So ideally, you want the higher tier scaling over D. We're just starting off in the game. We only have D tier scaling. As you play further on, you'll see A tier scaling. You'll have weapons that will scale better with the attributes that you run. Then they're overall just better weapons in general. The reason I can't run this is because it says that I need 16 strength in order to run it. And I don't currently have 16 strength on my character. But I know this. If I really like this weapon and I want to run more damage, I would then scale attributes into strength in order to run it. Flail, you see the guarded damage negation is a lot less. The damage is a little bit higher, but it also has a passive effect. If you look at the bottom, All these other weapons do not have passive effects. This one causes blood loss buildup. And so as you attack enemies, they will incur some blood loss. And so there'll be a meter that they'll take. And as they take these blood loss effects, when the meter gets filled, they will take more burst damage, and it'll explode, and they'll just more of their health pool will drop. So these status passive effects are very nice to have for that reason. But yeah, this is kind of how you go through and you choose what you want to run. So if you see something that looks really cool, like you're like, man, I kind of want to be a halberd main. I really like the long thrusty pokes. So this is how I want to play. I want to run this because this is awesome. Then you equip the halberd. You see what type of scaling it requires, and you run it. And you do this for any weapon. So if you pick up something really badass later on, you pick it up and you figure out what attributes to put into it, and away you go. Now, the only thing I will say is you guys should have an idea for what you want to run, like what you want to more scale into. If you think you're going to be a magic-based character, like Faith, Int, Arcana, like whatever, you should find weapons that work for that specific type of build. Same thing with strength and dexterity. There are different weapons that scale better with those specific playstyles. You may want to look on YouTube to figure out which weapons are the most interesting to you starting off right away. You want to find something to kind of build into, to scale into, to play with that you think you'll enjoy. It doesn't mean you can't experiment later. There are ways to reset your attribute points later on in the game. But starting off, you kind of want a direction so that you know which weapons to align into. And if you find you don't like it later, you can change it. You have chances to change it without completely going in and starting over with a new character. You just have to progress far enough into the game to get to those points. Namely, you have to beat Renala. I went into it knowing that I wanted to be strength-based. I wanted to run big colossal weapons and bonk people. And I started scaling into vigor and strength. Now, as far as your inventory goes, this will hold everything in your inventory. I mean, it's pretty straightforward. These are your tools. In my equipment, I had 3 things slotted in my inventory. I have Crimson Tears, I have my Cerulean Tears, and I have my Spectral Steed Whistle, which is the horse, which you will get within the first 30 to 40 minutes of this game. This restores your health. This restores your FP or your mana, and this allows you to access your horse. So in order to use these things, you cycle through them on the bottom, and you can use them. Now, the Cerulean Tears, they will come back. Like if you use these during a fight and then you win the fight, it will restore them. The other way to restore them is to stop at a site of grace. So you see that all my different potions are gone. If I stop at the site of grace, and I rest and then I leave right away, you will see that I will have my Cerulean Tears and my Crimson Tears back. This is a way of refreshing them in fights. So if you're fighting in an area and you're low on health and you're low on potions and you're like, man, I messed it up too much. I don't want to lose my runes. I want to just go back and restart. You go to a site of grace, you refresh, and you go, okay, I'll play better this time. I'll do it this way, and you play better and you win. And it's as easy as that, guys. So like, you just play better because you say you're going to play better. You're never going to have issues where you just struggle nonstop for hours on end in this game. That would never happen.
Okay.
But yeah, your inventory has. It will show you where your ashes are. It will show you your crafting materials, your smithing and somber stones. You have different types of weapons. Some weapons will be able to be leveled up with these smithing stones. Some weapons will require somber stones to level up. They're different types of weapons. It'll tell you what they need. But this is a way to increase your attack damage. So if you like a specific weapon and you want to level it up, this is where you see if you have enough smithing stones to do so. If you need to level up your weapon more and you're at let's say a +3 weapon and you need to have access to the next bearings in order to level up more smithing stones, there are YouTube videos out there that will allow you to do so, and they'll allow you to kind of hunt to where to find them. But leveling your weapons is important, and having access to smithing stones is also important. So keep on the lookout for these things. They're all over the place in the world, and pick and choose your weapons carefully on what you want to level. There's lots of resources in the game that allow you to go and find those things. These are your key items. Your stone sword keys will allow you to unlock doors that are held off otherwise. So you find these throughout the world. When you find these, you can then open up doors in other places. Like I said, this is more of a sandbox style game. So you can, if you find one of these doors and you want to go into it, but you don't have a key, continue playing the game in other places. When you find the key, then you can go back to that door, and vice versa. This is also where you find your maps. We will do a little bit of a tutorial and I'll explain how to have access to the maps. This was a big thing that held me back initially in this game, is not knowing exactly where to go in order to get access to these things, because it allows you to explore the world a little bit better. When you don't have map pieces, everything's kind of grayed out. So if I show you, I only have the one map piece for Limgrave. It allows me to look at all this, but everything else is hidden from me. This is a huge map. It is a huge map, and you need to collect map pieces in order to see them. But yeah, that's your inventory that will hold all these different things that you may want to use. Your Ashes of War are in here as well, summons, weapons, all this. And you can take a peek and you can look at it through your overall inventory. Status. This is your character sheet. This is what you want to use in order to level different things up. So as we go through it, our character name is here. This is my tutorial character for this video. I am level 12. I have like 40 minutes of gaming on this character right now, 35, something like that. Runes held, pretty simple. When you go out and kill things, you collect runes. This tells you how many runes you have. Runes needed is how many runes you need in order to level up to the next level. So if I want to go to level 13, I need to be holding 1,038 runes in order to get there. Process of editing magic, I went through and I gathered enough runes held in order to level up. And I wanted to show you guys what that would look like. So when you have enough runes and you have talked to your maiden and she can now apply runes to power, you can come in here and you can hit the level up button. And when we go through our attribute points, we will see this. I have one attribute point that I can allocate. And so if I decide to put it into vigor, you see my hit points go from 624, from 598 to 624. So the vigor is what boosts your hit points. If we want to level our mind, this boosts our FP. Our FP is our mana bar, our blue bar. It goes from 78 to 82. We'll be able to use more magical skills, Ashes of War, summons, stuff like that if we improve our mind. If we go into endurance, endurance does a few things. It boosts our stamina pool. Our stamina pool will be higher so we can block, dodge, and attack more if we're physical damage based, but it also boosts our maximum equipment load. Your maximum equipment load will play into account, once again, your light, medium, and heavy rolls. So if you want to run bigger, more badass weapons, like if you want to run the Claymore, if you want to run the Greatsword, the Zweihander, some of these colossal weapons that will be very heavy, and you still want to have something besides a heavy roll, you will need to increase your maximum equipment load in order to do so. So this is something to keep in mind as you run bigger weapons. You're going to see big badass weapons and you're like, man, I want to bonk somebody with that. This is where you're going to level up your max equip load so you stay out of the heavy roll the entire time. Will be through endurance. So endurance is a very, very good stat to have. On the bottom here, you will see strength, dexterity, intelligence, faith, and arcane. These are your different scalings for different types of weapons. Like I showed you before, different weapons will have different scales of strength. So you guys know I'm already running a strength-based weapon. It has D-scaling. If I put a point into strength, you see that my attack power for my right-handed my sword goes from 125 to 126. If I take it out, it also has D-scaling for dexterity. So if I put a point into dexterity, it goes from 125 to 126. So these are the weapons that I found. The weapons that I'm running have strength and dexterity-based scaling. That means that if I go to put a point into intelligence for this specific build, nothing happens. My weapons don't get stronger, my weapons don't get better, because the weapons that I'm running don't have that type of scaling. Faith, same thing. Arcane, same thing. So, but yeah, those are the different attribute points you can put stuff into. Your base stats, this is your hit points, your FP, your stamina, your equipment load, poise, discovery, the ability to discover items in the world, and your memory slots. Your attack power, these are your different armaments you can run, and then these are your different negations, your robustness, your immunity to poisons, different things due to whatever armor you're running and whatever level you are. But yeah, that's your overall character sheet. All right, guys. So for this next part, I wanted to go to my character that I finished the game with to show you what I ended up running to beat the game. But I also wanted to show you different mechanics and different things that exist. And it's easier to show you on this specific character. And so gone through everything inventory related. We've gone through all of the super boring stuff. Now I get to kind of break down some of the mechanics for you. The first thing I wanted to talk about was iframes. Now, invincibility frames, as they exist in Elden Ring, is a period in time to where if you dodge an attack, you do not get hit by incoming attacks in this game. And so this is why when you watch different clips of people playing, they can seemingly dance and never get hurt because they're very good at dodging at the right time. How we figure out what type of roll we have is based on our equipment load. Now, you know, earlier on in the video, I talked about this. Your overall equipment load, if you're 70% or over, you are in a heavy load. If you were 30% or and under, you're in a light load. And in between those two things, you're in a medium. And so I wanted to show you the differences between the three different load amounts and what it does to your iframes. And so right now we are in heavy. When we dodge roll, you see we have a very slow dodge roll. Our distance isn't very far. And so our iframe window for this specific dodge roll will be shorter. We also won't be able to get away from incoming AoEs or attacks as well with this specific type of setup. It's not necessarily a bad thing. If you're looking to dodge a lot, I would say that it is. Running a heavy build can be done. You can beat this game being heavy armor, running a tower shield, just being a tanky, beefy boy. You can absolutely do that. It's if you so choose to, but most people want to either be in a medium or light situation. And so I am going to unequip these weapons right here, and you will see that my equipment load switches to medium. And so when we watch our dodge roll now, you see it's quite a bit faster, and the distance that I cover is quite larger. The iframe is quite a bit better. This is how I set up my character with a medium roll with the ability to block. So I wanted to have both capabilities on my first playthrough. I never played a Dark Souls game before, so I wanted to kind of have both avenues if I so needed them. Now, we will take all this stuff off, and we will see what it looks like with a light roll. So I'm going to take this off and wait until we get into light. Take off the pants. Should be pretty close here. Let's take out, there we go. Okay, now we're in a light load. And so this is what our dodge roll is with light. You see how much further of a distance we can get. Light rolling is very powerful in this game, but it comes with trade-offs. You can't run as heavy of armor. You can't be as tanky when you do so. So it's choices that you make. If you choose that you're just going to be a dodge rolling god and you're going to dodge roll through everything, you're more than welcome to do so. With that being said, if you do get hit, you really could get punished for it. So that's up to you. I just wanted to show you guys the different rolls so you guys can kind of see what each one is, what you guys can try it out for yourself and see which ones you prefer yourself. But yeah, for me, I thought medium was good enough. So I ran medium personally. Next thing I want to talk to you guys about, since they didn't exist on my new character, was talismans. Now, as you start off, you will expand the amount of talismans you can run. You'll start off with 1, you'll get up to 4 as you go through the game. And what talismans are is they're essentially pieces of items that you can equip that give you different types of bonuses. And so when I go through these, there are different websites that have a list of all these guys. I'm not sure what builds you're going to run, what you want to try, but you'll see different things that'll work out for you. Raises maximum stamina, raises stamina recovery speed, raises maximum HP, stamina, and equipment load. You have boosts your physical damage negation if you so choose to. You have different ones that boost jump attacks, boost the ability to block, boost poke attacks with thrusting weapons, all sorts of different things that you could run if you're trying to make a build. And so what I would recommend is when you figure out kind of what build you want in the route you want to go, whether it's caster, physical player, physical melee player, whatever, you can then look at the list of whatever talismans you want to run and find the locations and then go hunt them down yourself for your final build. Another thing you'll encounter as you get further along in the game, when you go to these sites of grace, when you pick up specific items, these different physic mixes, you will have a chance to mix these to create another potion. And so you'll have your cerulean tears, you'll have your wondrous physic, and then you'll also have your mana potions. And so you can switch these out, and there's these, once again, they provide different types of bonuses. Eliminates all FP consumption in mixed physic. So you pop this potion, it eliminates your FP consumption. This one, temporarily boosts lightning attacks in mixed, temporarily boosts magic attacks, poise, all these different things. So you can mix and match your builds with these specific things as well. And so it's a nice little extra to have. Mine's more set up for dueling right now. But when I was playing, I ran the damage shield because it would protect you from one big attack. And so when you look at my hotkey on the bottom, we have our 2 potions, and then we have our physic as well. Then we have our grease, and then our boluses. Okay, so the next thing I wanted to talk to you guys about was summons. There are all sorts of summons that exist in the game. As you complete different areas, as you kill certain bosses or do quest lines, you will get different summons that exist that will fight alongside you in different areas. You can level these up. I can't tell you which one's best for you. There's ranged ones, there's melee ones, there's tank ones, there's ones that do a ton of damage. These you can use in boss fights or in areas where you have a specific symbol. So if you look at my screen right now on the left hand side, you see what looks like a gravestone. That means you can use a summon. So if I use a summon here, you ring the little bell. I have the Mimic tier currently equipped, and you now have a creature. In this case, it's just a remake of myself that will fight along my side for the boss. These do come in handy. These come in handy when fighting specific bosses. Sometimes they will draw a lot of aggro, and if they're drawing aggro away from you, that means you're not taking damage. It allows you to go a little bit more offensive in certain spots. They're quite valuable. I think they do come in. I mean, you don't have to run them, but if you want to run them, you absolutely can, and they are effective. You can also desummon them, but yeah. In areas where there's a boss, which as you guys can see a boss in front of me, you can summon them and do that. Now, as far as my overall setup goes, this is what I ended up beating the game with. I have higher rune points than what I had. I was somewhere around 100, 105 or whatever when I beat the game. But this is the setup that I had. I had the heavy great stars. I like the bigger weapons. The bigger weapons in this game they reduce super armor. Every enemy in this game has super armor, and the more you hit them, the more it tears away at their super armor. When you drop their super armor to 0, what will happen is they will become stunned, and they will give you an area to critically hit. You'll see this often on boss fights, but every enemy has them. If you don't 1 or 2 shot them right away, I'll show some footage here of me dropping a few people down in the beginning starter zone. But the bigger the weapon you have, the more quickly it will drop their super armor. Now, the super armor doesn't stay, like in the fight, it doesn't go from the first time you hit them, it doesn't drop to 70% and then stay there at 70% the entire time until you hit them again. It will deplete when you hit them, and then it will slowly regain back when you're on the defensive. And so trying to get to the point to where you drop their super armor so that you can hit them is really valuable in this game, because literally when they're stunned, you do a shit ton of damage. They're on the ground, they can't hit you, they can't fight back. I mean, when they're not fighting you, you're obviously doing more damage. And so I like the big boy weapons for that reason. This one gives a little bit of healing also. I also changed the strength. It also has a strength scaling, so I was able to scale it quite a bit. As far as the Ash of War on it, this one currently has Lion's Claw on it, because I was messing with different things in dueling. I messed with Lion's Claw. I liked Prayerful Strike. Like, both of them are very good in PvE. My end shield was the Golden Great Shield. Very, very good, in my opinion. It just, lot of damage negation. Your guard boost is very high. Your physical damage negation on block is 100%. I still had a medium roll, as you guys can see. But yeah. And then I got the scaled armor. The scaled armor was some of the best stuff that I had at the time. There is better stuff, but that's what I had. So yeah, this is more or less what I ran as far as talismans. I ran Erdtree's Favor, and now my heavy load is there. But regardless, this is more or less what I ran. I'll make an adjustment here, but you don't have to. So it doesn't really matter. This isn't exactly what I ran, but this is close enough. But Erdtree's Favor, I ran the Curved Sword, enhances guard counters when you block an incoming attack. If you block it, you can successfully counterattack, and you can do a shit ton of damage. I did a lot of those in this game. I like the Green Turtle Talisman. I went back and forth between that and the Great Jar. You could absolutely run Great Jar in some fights where, I was fighting Melania and you wanted to dodge or block a shit ton. Having the stam recovery speed was very, very nice. And then Great Shield boosts guarding ability, your ability to block. And so just a tanky, beefy boy. I stacked all into Crimson Tears because I really didn't use any spells. I was a strength-based build. And that's basically how I built my setup. All right, guys. In this video, I also wanted to talk to you guys about whetstones. There are different types of whetstones. The first one will allow you to change Ashes of War on your item. The other whetstones that you can collect throughout the game changes how your weapons scale. So, for instance, if we look at my weapon right here, I'm changing the Great Star. Let's change it to the Ash of War to Stamp here. Now I have the choices to change it from Standard, Heavy, Keen, Quality, Magic, Fire, Flame Art, Lightning, Sacred, or Poison. And so you see that I'm currently running a Heavy Great Stars, and you see it gives me A scaling for Strength. If I change it to Standard, it gives it C scaling for Strength and D scaling for Dex. Keen, it goes to E scaling for Strength, and Dex goes to B. Quality goes to B for Strength and Dex, and then Magic Int actually changes to B scaling. And so this is a way to kind of change how well your weapons work for your specific build. It's very nice. So if you like a specific weapon and you want it to work better for how you're specifically running it, finding out where the whetstones are throughout the game, being able to change what quality they are, changes how they scale. So you see my damage changes. So if I go, my physical is 305 plus 328, but if I change to Standard, it goes to 240 because the scaling's not as good. Heavy is just better scaling for me. And you can see that these different changes will adjust how your different weapons scale. And so it's up to you. You guys can do what you want. You don't necessarily need to change these. I think when I went through this, I went through most of the game without changing how my weapon scales. I just ran the Standard. It was fine. You just find better weapons as you go and whatever, but this will help you along your way to have a stronger, harder hitting weapon, which, you know, is pretty valuable for killing bosses. Since we talked about Whetblades, we might as well talk about bell bearings as well. This is just something you guys should know. You can use different honing stones to level up to a certain point. For normal honing stones, I want to say it's 1 to 3, and then it's like 4 to 7, and then it's 8 to 11. Something like that, but it's definitely 1 to 3, and I think it's 4 to 7. But regardless, when you have these honing stones, if you do not have the proper bell bearings to upgrade at that point in time, you will need to go out and get them. And so if you have a level 3 weapon and you want to upgrade it further and you can't do so, you need to go out and get the specific bell bearing. And so I've said it already. There's websites out there that exist. There's YouTube videos out there that exist where you can look up bell bearing 1, bell bearing 2, and they will show you the exact location on where to find these things to get stuff leveled up. So this all seems kind of daunting, but if you watch this video and you understand that, hey, I want to level this up, I need to get a bell bearing. Okay, now I need to search for the next bell bearing. You know what you have to do next. And so it allows you to bounce back and forth. You don't have to do this, but if you're struggling at different points in the game and you know you need to unlock something instead of wandering around throughout the world not knowing exactly where to go, you can utilize these tools to help you out. All right, guys. So for this part of the video, I wanted to talk to you guys about golden seeds. Now, not the golden seed that you and your high school friends talk about, what you put in each other's moms. I wanted to talk about golden seed as it pertains to Elden Ring. The importance of golden seeds in Elden Ring is twofold. They do two things. Number one, they can boost the amount of potions that you can carry, so you can carry more health potions if you so choose to. Or two, they increase the potency of these potions, so you can heal for more. And it is very important as you progress in the game, as you fight harder and harder enemies, to improve your potions. Your potions will go a lot further. That means your fights will last a decent amount longer. Don't forget to pick up your golden seeds as you see them. You'll be able to spot them pretty easily. They are underneath these golden trees. Golden seed underneath a golden tree. Shocker, right? So yeah, just keep your eyes open for these. They're pretty easy to find, but yeah, they're pretty important to have in my opinion. And then finally, we have a discussion on multiplayer. So multiplayer does exist in this game. You can put a summon on the ground, and what this does is you can summon people into your zone to fight with you. It is a great resource to have. It is very nice to be able to summon somebody to come help you out on a specific boss fight, or maybe they have a specific resource that for you that you need to get in an area. You can work with players in order to beat certain parts of this game if you're finding that you're struggling. The problem with going into cooperative player or multiplayer in this game where people are helping you is once you do that, you open up your world to invasions. If you're allowing allies to come help you out, the game then says, hey, we're going to allow enemies to come in to try to stop you and kill you. The game still wants you to have a challenge. And so there's nothing wrong with asking for help. I'm just telling you that if you do ask for help, you will potentially have people invade into your realm trying to kill you. They'll be easy to spot. So yeah, you will have people invade you and they will try to kill you. It then becomes a PvP game if you take on those types of risks. And so this game is all about choices. If you choose something, it can get easier, but you have a potential consequence. You can choose this, but you have a potential consequence. That's all this game is. It's a game of choices. You pick and choose what you want to do. This is a great game. I will say that. I really have had a lot of fun playing this for the last 4 months. I've had a lot of fun fighting, PvPing on it, completing the game, and I can't wait for all of you to get in there and enjoy it as well. And so, yeah, we're about a week, like I said, a week away from the Erdtree DLC, and it's gonna be awesome. So, hope to see you there. Take care, guys. Have a good one. So, guys, when I was making this video, I was trying to figure out everything that I had a tough time doing, and I would ask questions, and I had a really good friend that was helping me out because he's played multiple Dark Souls games and knew how to do all this stuff. And a tip that he gave me that I'm not really seeing posted anywhere else that I want to give to you is this one. When you come up to these sites of grace, this is obviously more, as I've said, a sandbox style game. You can go wherever you want, you can do whatever you want. But if you ever get lost or you're not sure where to go, you're not sure how you can where to travel to next to kind of find direction, these sites of grace have these arches, these golden arches that kind of point in the direction of where the next site of grace is. And so I wanted to show you that. But if we take off in this direction towards this way, it will lead us to this church, which is the other site of grace that we showed earlier. And so come in here, and all of a sudden there is another site of grace. And so this would lead you to here, and you could talk to this person, you could get this merchant going. I don't want to show too much of the story for you guys, but then you see that you have this direction pointed for this site of grace. So if we take off in that direction, it should once again lead us to another one. So you can bounce around, you can do all sorts of things in this game. You don't have to go in this direction, but it gives you an idea of where to kind of head to next for the next checkpoint, the next area to explore, these sorts of things. So this is something I really wish I knew the first time I had played, because yeah, sometimes you just get a little stuck and you're like, okay, well, where do I go next? What do I explore next? This helped me out quite a bit. And with this as well, I wanted to talk to you guys about maps. In different areas, there are different maps that you can unlock, and you don't unlock areas until you find these maps. They're typically on the main path. I will show you what they look like, but they're at these tower things around the main roads. And so when you travel into an area, you're going to look at the map, and the map is going to show everything grayed out, and you can't see what's in the area. Well, with that, you will see these red like circles kind of highlighting that they're like that red circle is where the map is. And then when you travel towards that area, you look for these rectangular towers, and underneath them you will have the map, and the map will unlock the entire area. This is really important to have, because then you kind of know everything on the map. Like, you know what you've adventured to, you know what you haven't adventured to in that area, and you can figure out, what you haven't explored yet. So those two things are the last things I want to leave you guys with. I will obviously have everything in this video bookmarked. You can bounce back and forth, but I'm going to end this video here. If you guys have any questions or comments, please provide in the section below. I will do my best to answer it. If you guys want to help out by commenting in the section on stuff that I missed, feel free to do so. I just want to get a good guide out there. So thank you for watching, guys. Have a nice day.